All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Matt Johnson. You are watching Real Estate Uncensored. We are back with another fresh episode. We're brand new with a great guest, and we're going to talk about how she has built a scalable, sellable business and is on her way to building a saleable business out of her real estate team. And we'll talk about how she really took a step back and reevaluated everything in her business, all the lead gen, all the systems, and really built out and rebuilt from the ground up around Infusionsoft and some other things, a really scalable, systematic business. So that's going to be an awesome conversation. We have a great guest with us today, but we also have Greg back on the show.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
How lucky are you?
Little vacation, Greg. What's up, man?
Little vacay. Yeah, man, I headed out to Florida, had a fantastic time out in Florida. Those days just went by like that. It was there and then gone, and it sucks to be back looking at your ugly mug. But, hey, we all have to suffer somehow, so this is my penance, I guess.
We all have our cross to bear. I got you.
Yes,
I got you.
Yes, and I have you. It's okay. No, I really did have a good time. I missed being back. I missed being on Friday. I was been looking forward to this all day long. It's. I was actually talking to Neely on the way back in. She had something to pick my brain about something, and she told Matt, "You'll get a kick out of this, ma'am." So Neely and Misty were talking. They're friends, and they were having an honest-to-God debate on they want to do a podcast and they want to be us. So they were arguing over which character they were each wanted to play. And Misty was saying like, well, I think I should be Greg because I have a foul mouth and I can just talk shit. And Neely's like, well, I think I can be Matt because I'm logical and I can get things from A to B. And so they had like a 30 to 45-minute conversation about that. I'm like, that's just funny. That's just really funny. I never thought that would actually happen. So, Misty, yeah. I hope you curse up a storm like I do. May you offend people on a daily basis. I wish you all the best. And Neely, good luck on trying to be the Misty Wrangler. Matt has failed epically at this.
I'm your certified Greg Wrangler. All right, so let's bring our special guest for today, Kim Barber. Kim, what's up today?
Excited to be here. Thank you. How are you?
We're excited to have you. We're doing very well.
Yeah.
So for those that may not know you, give everybody kind of the 60-second version of who you are, where you are, and what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Kim Barber. I live in the Northern Virginia area, specifically the Reston, Ashburn area, which is about 15 miles outside of Washington, D.C. Residential real estate agent since 2004, and been growing a team and making shifts along the last 10 years of real estate, and looking forward to the future.
It is. Given I just got back from the East Coast, it is humid as shit out there.
Oh my God.
I mean, when I got out there, they said it was going to be hot. I had no idea what hot meant, so I'm surprised that any of y'all wear pants out in that neck of the woods.
Right.
Because, damn.
Yeah. I think we had felt like 110 last weekend or so.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah. It was like 94, brutal. But it feels like 110. I was just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Lucifer, turn it down, pal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and Florida, I make jokes about Florida being a swamp, but DC is not too far off, right?
No.
I mean, it's kind of that's swampy area around there.
It's hot.
Yeah.
Now is your area, the suburbs outside of DC, is it similar to San Francisco, where 15 miles might as well be the other side of the world because it'll take you 3 hours driving to get there? Is it that kind of situation out there?
Yeah. I think I'm pretty confident we rank in the top 3 worst traffic. So one of the questions that we ask people when they relocate here that don't know is how long do you want to commute? It's not how far away, it's how long do you want to commute? Because that 45 minutes might mean 5 miles.
That's right.
Oh
please fill in the blanks on how much you would like to hate your life on a daily basis.
That's right. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
So it's interesting talent. Is relocation a big part of your business?
Yeah, we get a lot of military that comes in and out. We have an election coming up, so you'll get a big shift in people. Exxon just took thousands and thousands of people and left to go to Texas. And Homeland Security, second Silicon Valley, we have a lot of massive growth happening here. Metro rail systems, subway, whatever you want to call it, are being laid out and developed in our area. So it's exciting, but it's crowded.
Do you have so what's your turnover rates over in those neck of the woods with that kind of a turn? Do you see a higher turnover rate every 4 years or every 8 years when there's a presidential shift, or is it pretty steady on your churn?
It's pretty steady on the churn. I think it's still pretty classic, that 4 to 7 years. A lot of people relocate here even from overseas because of our school zones. And our schools, meaning we're ranked pretty top in the country. And so people will come over here, especially from the Middle East, And our software and IT industry is so strong, along with, like I said, Homeland Security and the defense, that those two industries bring people in, they keep them, but not that many people want to retire here.
Yeah. Is it because it's hot as hell?
Well, right? Yeah.
Actually,
if they have roots here, they retire here, but it's a fast pace. It's high demand, fast pace, long days. You know, when you're retired, you don't want to sit in traffic all day.
Don't?
So.
Wait, traffic isn't on the highlights? Ah, damn it, Matt! I got this wrong. Shit.
Right.
That's you've retired. You've retired early, Greg.
Yes, I have, Matt. In my head, at least. Not
Yeah.
financially. But I feel like I'm on vacation every day.
Oh man. Okay. So let's take a quick question real quick. This is a real kind of a simple one. So Tom Romero, this is on the lead gen description objections Facebook group, says, I got an objection from a seller. A seller says, okay, we want to lower our price, and we'd also like you to lower your commission. Sounds reasonable, I'm sure, to a seller. So Greg, what's the best way to handle that? So they're willing to lower their price if their agent lowers their commission in exchange.
No.
Why not?
Fuck you, I'm not doing that. Because, you know, I mean, I've gone over that script a couple of times in the past. You can say, look, I have, sir, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have absolutely no problem lowering my commission if you'd be willing to give me your next 2 paychecks. Because this is how I make my money, and you know what, no one's going to come to you and ask you to reduce your income based upon, you know, an action that's taking place in your industry. So if you would like it lowered, then I have no problem doing that as long as you sign your next 2 paychecks over to me. Is that okay with you? And they'd be like, no, it's not okay. No, I'm not doing that. I'm like, exactly my point, because this is my paycheck. This is how I put my food on my table, clothes on my back, and my family's back. So, you know, if you do not see the value in this, then maybe there's a lesser qualified agent that you might want to work with.
Nice.
Deadpan, solid, straight in the face. Then they're like, shit, I'm going to hire an idiot over some professional. Ooh, honey, how much is that really worth to you? You know, and then they go from there. But, I mean, I'll straight up put it back out to them, because if they're really going to ask to take money out of my pocket because they're a stingy bastard, well, no, that's not going to work for me. So,
all right. Well, Kim, let's turn to you. I'm sure you encounter this a little bit with various situations, either with, I know the price point out there is higher than the nationwide average, probably double the nationwide average, isn't it?
Yeah, our price point's just under 500,000.
Yeah, so I'm sure you get the, you know, this is a higher price point. Would you be willing to lower your commission for that reason? So how do you guys handle it?
Well, my favorite is just to say no. Any other questions?
nice. Knock it out of the park, Kim. Way to stay strong. Much love.
All right. No, and moving on. All right. So,
no, and no.
On the military stuff. So are there any specific challenges of dealing with military coming in and out that you guys have had to deal with? Anything that other people can learn from?
Well, I mean, I think that the thing with the military is we get a lot of people that come in here in 2 different ways. They come here because they are retiring into the area, and that's typically a little bit easier to deal with, because their next question isn't, if I buy this house, am I definitely going to be able to make my money back in 2 years when I have to move someplace else? I mean, it is such an expensive area that a lot of people come here and they end up renting if they're only going to be here 2 years, because, you know, 6% of 500,000 is a $30,000 increase that they would have to do to be able to sell it in 2 years, and we've had good appreciation, but the gamble on that is a little bit higher. But we get a lot of people that come here because it's the last move, and our defense industry is so strong and the jobs are so available that they come here, and that's super exciting, because they tend to want to be in really good school zones, be near the metro systems, and be really qualified buyers.
Interesting. You know, one of the things, what about, do you guys have a lot of raw land around you? I know since you're outside of D.C., is there raw land around there, or are you guys pretty much all built up?
I mean, we do have some land, but the land will get very expensive, and I would say in general the answer is no, until you get 30 miles out.
Okay, my wheels were just turning. I'm like, why not buy a bunch of land, rezone it, build a bunch of higher-end units on it, and then just keep those rentals turning through at an affordable price, make it just an absolute cash cow out of these vacant lots that are out there right now. I mean, is that an all possibility?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of growth happening, like in Reston specifically, where they're putting up huge apartment complexes, and I mentioned the Metro Rail is being extended out to the west. If you look towards Fairfax, and Loudoun counties where I'm located, and also down in certain parts of Prince William. So there's a lot more of the apartments going up, and again, they're very, very expensive. I mean, in that area, the average 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment that's on one of these areas that I'm talking about can be, $3,000. So, yeah. So it's, it's not the cheapest place to live. So, and if you get off of that, again, there's not big plats of land sitting around in the areas that we work.
Gotcha.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, good. Just a thought I want to throw it out there. Just kind of, I knew you had already thought about it, but just so everyone else could hear it. That's all.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's. What do you say we give a couple of quick shout-outs, and then we'll take a step back and kind of dive into Kim's story of how she literally rebuilt the business basically from the ground up. So, Greg, is there anyone in particular you want to shout out real quick?
Yeah, dude, Chris, Tam, Firepoint, man, much love to all of them, man. They sent me 5 mugs. We're actually doing, they just contacted me today. It is official. They are getting a video crew together, and they are going to do a documentary style film about me and my team as we implement the product and going through the trials and struggles that everyone else does, and see kind of how it's going to affect our life and everything that we're doing. So pretty excited about getting that up and going. Let's see here if this can pop up here super quick. Let's see here. Tim Hall, Mike, Stevie, Shelby, John, Connie, Ismail, Ryan, Heather, Debbie, TK, Mike, Daniel, and Shauna. Thanks for reaching out, guys. Always so much fun to really get some time chatting with you guys. If I can get to my calendar, Matt, because my mouse is not playing nice with me. McDaniel Challenge got pushed out till February 21st now. Just booked Adam out of SoCal, dude. He's just started listening to us, loves it. And dude, I think in like 5 or 6 days or 10 days, he's listened to like 15 or 20 episodes. So he's straight up binging. And then George and Tom for getting booked up on the McDaniel Challenge, guys. I'll go deeper on that later on. But McDaniel Challenge, nobody wants to be a March kid, okay? Nobody likes the March kids. To hang out with Matt's kids. See, March, Matt, now they rhyme. It's not a good thing. So don't be a March kid, guys. Sign up for the McDaniel Challenge ASAP. So, yeah, that's it. That's what I got.
All right, and then I just have homing in. I was just hanging out with Christian last week a little bit, and reminded me to mention that real quick. So homing in, it's a way for sellers to request real home valuations from agents. So if you go download the app either on Android or your iPhone, or you can actually do the desktop version as well. So go sign up for that, pop in your location, and see if there's seller leads essentially that are waiting for you already. The app is free for both sides to download, and right now homeowners are finding it faster than the agents. So there might be some free seller leads basically in your area. So go sign up for it, check it out, see if there's anything waiting for you, and if there is, respond to them with essentially with a price quote, and see if you can pick up a listing, because that's the idea, is to give them a real agent's evaluation of their price, and then for that to lead to the conversation that turns into the listing appointment. So homing in, go check them out. Yeah,
and then Lori Steinberg, dude, remember she just reached out to us on social media, Matt. She followed what I told her to go do, and it turned into what, a 24 to 40 unit duplex complex that she's going to start working just by doing some of the stuff that we did. So big knuckles to you, Lori. Great work. Much love. Keep us in the loop on that. We're really, really proud of you.
Cool. All right, Kim. So let's dive in a little bit. So I'm curious about I don't know if there was maybe a crisis situation or just a decision point that you came to, but taking back to that point where you decided, okay, I can't run my business like I have been. I have to change something. I don't know quite what it is, but I know what the goal is and I know where I want to get to. What kind of precipitated that decision to move forward in a certain way?
Right. Yeah, basically I was wanting to actually move and think about, my future. And then I was like, also at the same time, I had leads coming in from different sources, and was really looking at the different systems I had, and it was really kind of getting buried on being able to keep up with them. And so I was looking at, the home value leads, and let's call it the boomtown leads, and expired leads, and all of these things coming in, and at the same time going, if I want to have an exit strategy, how am I going to make a true business come off as a business? And I took a step back and I'm like, I can't keep up with these systems. They don't integrate together. none of them are a full operating CRM, and I'd been exposed to that in my first career. And I thought, if I really want to create something that's an exit strategy, I need to have something like a hub and have everything integrated together and have it all functioning with all of the follow-ups that are hard to keep up with, all of the expertise that we have. I need to capture it and push it back out through the system, and I need to be able to monitor it and measure it like a real business should be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to put that together? And did it all come to you? Were you using all the different parts but not putting it together, or did you go out and kind of say, okay, this is what I need, and then go hunt it down? How did that work? Walk me through that.
Yep. So how it worked was basically I had heard about this good idea and this good idea, and all of them are good, on their own, but it wasn't necessarily the thing that I wanted to go with. So I had tried with Boomtown, which is a great product, and I had a great website with them, and then I had leads coming in with bold leads and this and that, and I just was trying different things and going, these aren't talking to each other the way that they should, and I couldn't build, video was becoming the way, and I couldn't modify things the way that I wanted to do in a scalable way using any of them, and I was getting frustrated. I felt like this site had its own back-end CRM, and these emails were going to go out from them, and these emails were going to go out from them, and there was some follow-ups that you could do, but the follow-ups needed to be consistent. They needed to be branded correctly, and it needed to be able to take the voice, the text, the video, the email marketing, and the video blasting, and all of the follow-up, all the way to the simple things like I need to be able to take my database and print labels so that I can send it out to my sphere of influence, and none of them could do all of it. So it was through frustration and through realization from my prior career that something could be done better. And
yeah, so you came to decide on Infusionsoft as the center of this whole thing. So what was the thing that was kind of the nail in the coffin for going that way?
Yeah, so I actually went to a mastermind, and shout out to Chris Tam. I saw him last week and have had great conversations with him. And he was at a mastermind with some other great agents like Jeff Quinton and Lisa True, and I had researched Greg Harrelson, and I had conversations with them like we do at masterminds, and I was telling them what I was doing and what was working for them and what wasn't. And it was through those conversations and investing in myself and my business by going on those trips that I found these other systems and ideas. And so then I researched them and realized how robust and scalable that they were. And I knew that it would be complicated, but I could see that it was, to me, the system that I could build along with a consultant that knew the technical part and would allow me to create the end game. So I went in with, to have the end game in mind was where, to begin with the end game, as Stephen Covey would say, was where I put my mindset.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Most people never do that, so I mean, Kim, congratulations to you on that. That's really thinking, ahead, being foresighted, and saying, look, I want to be here. Let's step it back. It's kind of like prospecting. You want to do X amount of deals per year. Well, if you don't know you don't know what you're going for, you can never get there because you need to break it down, step by step. So, was there something, I don't know, what made you look at it like that? What was your past business, I guess, that helped you kind of look at it in that manner?
Okay. Yeah, so I think it still was that I really became passionate with the idea that this is a business. I can be a real estate agent and I can have a couple people on my team, but I'm running a real business. And a real business has numbers and goals and a plan and leverage and systems. And if I really wanted to grow a business and make it like a hub, then I need to take a step back, because when I was turning on the leads before, I had all these leads coming in, and I didn't have the right people as part of it, but I couldn't keep up, and I was wasting money, and I was wasting time, and I was losing opportunities. So I knew that I was going to be taking a step back from my production to make this happen, but that I didn't want the service that I was giving out to my clients to suffer, and that if I didn't have these systems in place, there was going to be suffering from wasted money and blown leads, and I wasn't going to be able to service my clients in the way that I wanted, and it wasn't going to be scalable. So, yeah.
Good. Cool. I cut you out by accident. Sorry.
Oh.
I was gonna say something like, you know what? A lot of times people look at that and say, well, if I take the time now and I'm going to spend like a day or two or even a week out of my production, time, on a day-to-day basis to build a certain, these systems in, well, am I doing a good thing or a bad thing for my business? Most people would say, well, I couldn't do that because I got to do X, Y, and Z every single day. But what they're not seeing, Kim, what you did that they don't see is the fact that if you take that day, that 2 days, that week, and you dedicate it to your system, then you're never going to have to go back and continually redo these actions that you're doing on a daily basis, and you're going to be able to put them into the system, and then they'll flow naturally through, which ultimately, at the end of the day, you'll have more time in your production and put more revenue into your bottom line. Yes, Matt, I did just say a system was good. Okay.
As long as other people can build them for you, they work great for you. So I'm curious, in terms of like the investment that you made. I'm not asking about the money, but I mean, what was some of the opportunity costs, and how long did you kind of take to step back and pull yourself out of the production end a little bit? What did you invest in terms of the lost opportunity? What did you invest in terms of the time you took away from your own prospecting and your own working with clients and all that stuff to kind of get this plan laid out and get it to the point where you feel confident that then you could just step back and turn the leads back on? Like, how long was that process and what went into that?
Yeah, well, I think at the beginning, to take my website off of what for me at the time was Boomtown and to move it over to a whole other website was a bear all in itself, to take all the leads and all their searches and to cleanse the database. I mean, that took a month or two all by itself. And then to figure out all the integration pieces, are you going to do Parsi, or are you going to do Zapier, and to make all of those things work. And I would say that, then to say which campaigns are we going to build first. And so I created a priority list. One of the mistakes I made was by not hiring a consultant that really had a lot of real estate experience in doing this. And so I try to do it on my own with Infusionsoft, and they're awesome, but I really needed to find that right person. So I did, and that's with Jeremy Kennerson with Who Knows a Guy Media. And so we sat down and mapped out a whole strategy that went, basically each month we would say, this is what we're going to develop. We're going to focus on, the lead management, the lead generation. I actually have my transaction coordination automated in the system as well on both the buy and the listing side, and my post-closing. And then I wanted the dashboard to be able to see it all. And
very cool.
Yeah, I would say that it took a solid 6 to 8 months of doing this, and we're still tweaking it. But now I've turned the marketing back on, and everything is working, and we're tweaking it, and the clients are responding, and I can see the forecast. Nice. And now I can just plug agents in and teach them how to work it, and their success should be exponentially higher as a team member than it ever was before.
I was just going to ask you that. Then you could plug each team member in, forecast for them, so they can legitimately get excited about, oh my gosh, I can forecast to make 100, 200, 500, $1 million a year, whatever that number is, based upon the production and their time investment and everything else, their conversion rates and the whole 9 yards, right?
That's right. Yep.
And you can also look at where the genesis of a lead and then what the actual catalyst for closing were. So let's say you had what's one of your lead sources again?
Excuse me?
What's one of your lead sources?
Facebook ads.
Okay, so a Facebook ad was generated here, but it took, let's say, 12 months to work because they were just kicking tires. Well, then actually the follow-up was then going to be the real reason why it really closed. You know where to emphasize and really put more of your money, right?
Right, that's right.
More of your time and so on and so forth. That's so incredibly powerful, but nobody actually ever looks at that because they never look at what it took to close a lead. They only look where it came from. Right. And that's not really where the value is. Your team, and the follow-up and the systems and the emails and the calls and the videos and everything else. There's the value because that's where you're building the relationship. Would you agree?
Right. I absolutely agree. And when I saw the statistics that 80% of the sales happen after about the 8th to 9th contact, implementing the follow-up systems that included a combination of emails, which had embedded videos, as well as calls and texts and voice, And then, you know, if we can get them on the phone and we can find out their time frame, we actually have what we call disposition, and we can put them into the queue as a seller or buyer, which will, what they get next will change. But if they're in the 12-month, you know, it'll put them into a 12-month plan, and then it'll set your calls up for certain cycles. Your calls will be here, your emails will be here, your texts will be here. And even the next thing we'll do is use Fix Your Funnel so that I can have the auto dialer within Infusionsoft implemented. Nice. So I can actually forecast and look out and see that, for example, from expireds, we put them in because we have a lead generation form. You put it in, and it'll go into my expired campaign, which has videos and calls. And I can see that all those rentals, people that went into the rental because they couldn't sell their house, that I have like 35 leads that are people that I've had communication with that nobody else is going to be calling on like next April. And then I can actually plug in the volume and say, and those 35 leads are worth, you know, $35 million or $16 million or whatever.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Damn good and nice value.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Kim. So when you go with something like Infusionsoft, I think that one of the things that people don't realize about that is, I don't remember if it was Bill Gates that said this, but when you add people to an inefficient process, it makes it worse. It's only a good thing when you take an efficient process and then you add people to it and make it more efficient. But something like that, or something to that effect. I'm probably butchering that quote horribly. I just heard it the other day, and I should know better. But anyway, so was there anything like going through this process from Infusionsoft? I mean, most of the agents that listen to this will never use Infusionsoft, and I wouldn't recommend it unless they did what you did, which is to go out and find somebody that is a consultant that has the real estate experience and knows exactly what to do, because it's extremely difficult and complex. But let's back off and maybe look at some of the lessons that you learned that may have been revealed in the course of going through this. So is there anything that, like, when you sat down to do your campaigns and to kind of put all these pieces together, did it make you reevaluate some of your other systems and just some of the business processes within your team and cause you to make some other changes that are completely outside the realm of Infusionsoft?
You know, I think that at the end of the day, you know, I was even talking to Christine, who's my transaction coordinator, listing coordinator today, that there's the other piece that as much as we do put in the system, there's still the human conversation that we need to have. Mm-hmm. So we need to increase our calls through the transaction process. That, you know, that we can automate and systematize them as much as we want, but people still want that human communication, if you will. Yeah. So that's actually like not leaning too heavily to get away from that this is a people process as well.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, so on Wednesday when Greg Harrelson comes on the show, we're actually bringing on another agent that was where you were at maybe 6 months ago or so. So he's got Infusionsoft and he's struggling with that exact thing, among other things. So he's struggling with, okay, yes, there's this automation that's going out, especially in the contract to close process. Now, how do we take the agent interaction and fit them together like puzzle pieces so we're not stepping on the automation and we're not relying on the automation to take care of all the customer, you know, interaction, because we know that's not good enough. So that's one of the things that we'll talk about with Greg is how his agents are really interlocking with the automation to do the follow-up, especially during the contract to close and things like that correctly, so it all works together rather than relying on one or the other. So it's so you found that out the hard way going through it, that is still, you need that personal interaction. So are you guys doing, like when you say more communication or more calls through the transaction process, is there anything systematic? Is it a call every 2 to 3 days? Is it something like that where you have it established a certain number of calls per week?
Yeah, so on Thursdays between 11 and 1, I'll contact, you know, all the sellers, or if I happen to be working with the buyer, but that's at least to touch base during that certain block of time where if it's nothing else to say, just want you to hear my voice, you know, because I prep them ahead and say, you know, we have a system, you're going to get these messages, some of them are automated, some of them aren't, but I'm still going to touch base with you, and then I'm blocking that time, because, you know, the Zillow reviews and their stress levels seem to go directly hand in hand.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah. So it's definitely, and then you know, in that automation with my drip campaigns, you know, we started doing you know, every 2 weeks sending out the video marketing. We've been using Viral, and then actually automated a lot through there. Through using Infusionsoft. But for example, I started noticing that sometimes there was too many emails coming in back to back. So we're going to automate we're going to change the long-term campaign so that for example, maybe the first Thursday afternoon and then the third Tuesday afternoon, the messages would go out, but then on the second and the fourth, the video messages go out, so that they're more once a week and not like maybe 2 on the same day, because when the lead comes in, it was just coming in off of their time frame. But sometimes we were seeing people getting like 3 messages in a day, and that's overwhelming, especially if they're coming in and they're in a 10 days of pain, which we're spreading out to a 28 days of gain. 3 emails in 1 hour, which is happening when you have thousands and thousands of contacts. That doesn't work. So we're kind of tweaking as we go along, and watching our people stay in and what they're responding to.
That's interesting. So you're able to track what pages they're on, how long they're on the pages, what properties they like, how long they're on the properties, what photos they like on each property, that nitty-gritty kind of detail. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, that's on the on the Real Geeks back end. We can see the property IDX type of searches. Mm-hmm. But within Infusionsoft, when we send out a campaign or we broadcast a message out, for example, we'll take this podcast perhaps and we'll send it out. Or
you should. That'd be a wise move. That'd be a very wise move.
Yeah. Well, one of the ones that we get huge returns on is just a simple market update. I can see the open rate, the click-through rate. And the fun thing is when they click on, then they see, search for my properties or click my home value, I actually get a task that then sets up that says, hey, this person clicked here, call them now. But I can watch, my open rate, my click rates. I can measure all the new lead sources, the return on investment, and the gross commissions, the leading and lagging indicators, which sounds really complicated, but even at a small level, these are things that we have to know how to do at running a business. And when I'm recruiting agents to join our team, now that this system is up and running and I'm now ready to scale, I need to be able to show them that these leads are coming in and this is what you're going to do. And as long as you do these things, this is what you should get as your income. And it's exciting, or these are the people that you're going to call, and you don't really have to think about it that hard as long as you do the front end work.
Well, that's the basic real estate agent brain pan. If you big buttons and colors. If you just tell me what to do, I'll do it. But
right.
Wait, I have to figure it out? Oh hell no.
Right.
Not happening. But that's awesome stuff. That's really cool stuff.
So Kim, what are the leading indicators? Like when you manage your business by like a scorecard, depending on the terminology you use. I mean, what's on the scorecard for you?
Yeah. So like basically, for example, we just turned Facebook ads back on. And so we're watching the conversion rate and the click-through rate, and we might get a little bit more granular to see how much of those are junk. But if we just take basic, easy numbers and say 2%, and with the follow-up campaigns that we have, and we're going to roll out like webinars and stuff, which are really easy to do when you have everything in a system like this. Our rate of return should be higher, or our conversion rate should be higher on those. But let's just say that those. We just turned on and we have like a $500 spend. We get 95 leads that came in the last 30 days. We are then saying that these should come in, and then in the 3 to 6 months and more, those should start to convert over. And so I can look and say, okay, this year we might only do 50 deals, which doesn't suck. It's a good GCI or price range. But now with this system and this tool, we should be at 125 sales next year. Wow. And I can point to the exact people that we're going to target because we're talking to them and putting them in the queue.
Yeah. That is some very, very exciting stuff. Now, going back to the webinars, explain that. Are you running the webinars, or one of your team members running webinars? Are you doing it out to your clients? Are you bringing in guests? How are you doing the webinars? That's actually very interesting.
Yeah, so actually it was something that, that I found that I was actually spending a lot of my time on learning, and then there was a company that I saw that would help us put webinars together in a very professional fashion and package it up so that I can, again, it goes back to the ideal of scalable, leverageable, sellable, mm-hmm. and so that so we're going to create a webinar that's recorded and and basically blast it out to now this growing database of leads that will be buyer-focused or seller-focused. I have another great campaign that we're getting ready to launch out on downsizing, which is a huge market that we're going to try to tap into. And so that we're going to have these, buyer seminars through a webinar, through, like sign up on one of these time zones. So I can be anywhere, and the conversion rate will hopefully be, higher on these leads that are coming in.
I'm just cracking myself up. I can just see one of your titles for downsizing. Too old for your big house? Help you downsize.
Top 4 things you should do. Hire me now.
Did you just give out on you? Oh, we can help you, old guy.
Right. Can't walk up your stairs anymore.
That's right. Do you need a slab house in Florida? We can help you. We can help you get out of town. All right. So, Kim, in the last few minutes we have left, where are you sitting at, kind of right now, and what are the next steps for you? What are the things that you're looking to implement next to make your business more scalable, more saleable?
Yeah, I think that the thing that I'm doing next is, as much as I like to hire, do great service for the clients. Now that we have this system in place, really taking the knowledge that I have, and it's about helping recruit the right agents to join the team, and find the 1 or 2 people that might be able to be groomed into somebody that would take this over in the future. So finding the agents and helping them with their career and their results, and having this model of marketing that's going to come in. I mean, if they follow this plan and they follow the training and the coaching that we have in all of these systems, then it should be a little bit more of plug and play, and I really get excited about seeing other people succeed. So my plan is now to focus heavily on recruiting. Another very easy thing to throw into Infusionsoft is this type of campaign, and then really see them take off. I mean, if we can get 95 leads with $500, if we have enough people that are good and solid, because I've lost a lot of money on the wrong people, then you can just double that money and have 180 leads, right? And so that's my plan, is to revise the training and get the right people, and then just keep incrementally growing everything.
Gotcha. Very cool.
How big do you want to get before you decide to sell it off? Is there a size you want to get to that you can say, okay, I'm going to sell this off at whatever nut, and then be able to go live down in Florida in the single slab, as Matt was saying?
Yeah.
The single story slab.
Yeah. I mean, I think if just last week I was at my coaches with the Tom Ferry organization, and I was kind of mapping out, so that 5-year plan for me, would get over a couple million a year in GCI, and probably have 8 or 10 agents under the team, and kind of be having the hub, and then after that 5 years, be stepped back, if not sooner.
Nice.
Anything in particular, like I don't know much about the inner workings of Tom Ferry as far as how they teach teams to scale up. Is there any resource that they kind of work off of? Like, for example, Lars Hedenberg, who teaches a lot of the same things, refers back to a lot of Gino Wickman stuff, like traction and rocket fuel and stuff like that, and really helps agents kind of integrate that methodology, that whole entrepreneurial operating system for his clients. Does Tom Ferry have like his own stuff that's similar, or does he refer to a certain, do they have a certain book or whatever that they kind of help people guide through and apply in their business?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Tom Ferry, the thing that I like about his is that, you really have to start with the fundamental things of a business plan, time management, and prospecting, and figuring out what your passion is. So if your passion, like with me, I happen to be blessed with an understanding of how these systems can be built, and figuring out that, wow, that's something that I can now do. But if your passion is geographic farming, or your passion is calling when expires, or your passion is socializing, he's got proven cases and methodologies for each one of those, types of things. For sale by owner, if you have money, if you don't have money, but dive in deep and be really good at it, and then keep adding, right? And then there's not like you have to do it this way. But I think fundamentally, if you don't have the scripts and know what to say and have a plan and have some accountability, whether it's Tom Ferry or anybody, I think that your risk for success is higher if you have it, and failure is higher if you don't.
Yeah, 100%. Accountability is the number one thing. And yes, Matt, you're going to be right on this. Gosh damn it, I hate when you're right. Systems are very important, and they are critical. Kim, like you've seen in your business growth, if you can get just those 2 basics down, and then you can work on what you can say. I mean, you can get a script from almost anybody. You can learn like I did by tripping and landing on your face 100,000 times in a row until you have a face looking like a pug, all flat and shit. But if you can get down, the accountability is number one. I mean, find that person that, like, people always ask me, like, well, Greg, how do I get motivated? I'm like, so do you have kids? They're like, yeah. I'm like, what are your kids' names? You know, Bob and, you know, Janet. Great. You tell Bob and Janet on you're going to be the guy or the girl on Christmas morning. You have to tell your 2 kids they couldn't have Christmas because mommy or daddy was a punk bitch and couldn't get up and do the phone calls or do the things that they needed to do. And they're like, oh, that's horrible. I'm like, there's your motivation. Now you don't have to do anything more. Your accountability are 2 little love bugs that you love more than Earth itself. So that's what, you know, that could be something as simple as someone can't afford an accountability coach or doesn't trust anybody around them. But I mean, that's what I found to be really, really helpful from my side. Not that I have kids, but, you know, having to tell my 2 furry bastards of cats that they don't get the wet food, they only get the dry food.
Wow. Yes. Oh, I can't imagine the looks in their poor faces.
The horrors. Sudi, her little fat belly.
All right. Well, I know, Kim, you've got a closing to get to, so we'll wrap it up. But
give
us a quick rundown again on where you're at and how people can contact you, so if they have referrals for your area.
Yep. So I am in the Northern Virginia area, in the Loudoun and Fairfax counties, specifically Reston and Ashburn. And you can reach me at 571-269-2281. And you can also email us to kim@kimbarbergroup.com.
Perfect. And then, Greg, you want to give a very, 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 very short rundown for the McDaniel Challenge?
Well, if you didn't lead in such a long lead-in, I could have given a longer explanation, Matt. All right, guys, McDaniel Challenge. It's a 1 to 2 hours of free, capital F-R-E-E, free, no strings attached, coaching and training from yours truly, whatever is stopping you, blocking you, holding you back from whatever you want to do in your life, in your real estate career. Guys, if you're on the fence, you're like, it's the right thing or not the right thing, believe me, it's the right time for you guys to get off the fence and get a hold of me. I am quite literally
booked through the end of February, so yeah.
I'm booked. February 21st is my next date, guys. Call me at 925-915-1978 or send me a text message or Facebook me, Greg McDaniel in Danville, California. Send me a message there, guys. Follow me so you can see my other stuff that I'm doing, and check me out on Snapchat, REU444, and that is my Snapchat. But follow me, guys. Is different content there than it is on the show here. And get on the McDaniel Challenge. Don't be the March kids. Stay in February.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see everyone back here on Wednesday for the episode that I mentioned with Greg Harrelson. It's going to be a good one. So until then, everybody, thank you so much.
See you guys.